Hail fella, do you remember how good Realme 6 was and actually is even by now? Let me remind you a bit about it with its clips and tell you that in today's video we speak about its ancestor, why we were so excited about Realme 6, cause for the adequate amount of money people got some wonderful stuff from it. Will Realme 7 be as cozy, owner and wallet friendly? Welcome to Tech Fellas, my name is Bogdan and let's take into it. Quickly about some general features of this handset, or their absence, that in our opinion are important for a modern fella. First of all, the device has NFC, it works absolutely fine and I recommend using it all around and to rejoice. Although there is no stereo pair, the singing one is only the bottom speaker, but the sound from it is nice and perfectly loud. Also down here is a USB-C port and the headphone jack. The fingerprint reader is side-mounted in the power button. It is pretty fast and we saw no issues in it. The face recognition also works stable and relatively quickly. Now let's talk about how it looks. The showstopper of the design is a large set of cameras with 4 eyes. The manufacturer clearly tried to achieve the closest look of almost all Android flagships of 2020. That is not the best way of making your phone to stand out from the crowd. Also, it is difficult not to notice a beautiful overflow on the matte finish, as well as the fact that it is divided into 2 parts, each retracting the light rays in a different way. I do like how all the shimmering stuff looks, but for some people such warm feelings will be crushed after I'll say next. The back of the phone is totally made of plastic. But still, the most part of people will surely place the smartphone in out-of-box case. That is not sexy at all, by the way. Even if you order a more fancy one and will take it off once in a month, or never, in such case, will there be any reason to hate plastic? I wouldn't care much. How about you? Another important thing to mention about the outer look is the front camera that has kinda the same hole punch style as Samsung smartphones have. There is a noticeable frame around the screen. It is not too fat, but still not the most elegant too. I've told you already about the sound from the speaker, now how's it through wired headphones? Realme 7 has a classic smartphone sound, however, I must admit quite a good one, at least without any major sound flaws. Regarding the maximum volume, no questions to this one too. Also, if you prefer to store a lot of data on the phone and get benefits from 2 mobile operators, you'll find it handy that the card drawer is awesome here. Now let's focus on the screen. Nice, thank you. Now about the screen. It is a 6.5 inches IPS LCD Full HD Plus with 90 Hz refresh rate. All the moves here are smooth, the colors are pleasing. If you want about the screen to front panel ratio, it is 90.5%. I have no complaints about the brightness, as well as about the viewing angles. It's camera time. In brief, the front-facing one goes first. Frankly, as for the mid-range smartphone, Realme 7 takes extremely good selfies. You will surely see smearing when cropping, but in this price range this is a common and normal situation. Otherwise the photos are rather pleasing than they are not. The main set of cameras obviously needs more time to cover. Realme 7 can create regular wide shots, ultra-wide angle shots, and no one has forgotten about zooming either. Super zoom shots, as expected, are wildly lacking in details. If we talk about shooting capabilities in total, I can safely say that even with raw firmware, Realme 7 manages to create good photos. The smartphone is not afraid of contre-jour, perfectly fights with overexposed or dark areas, doesn't make photos oversaturated, and in general it is able to produce quite suitable content. Also, it can take night photos, at least the camera app has this feature, but the night pics overall are so-so. As for the videos, the maximum resolution that smartphone takes is 4K, but shooting like that you may forget about any image stabilization. For lovers of smoothness there is a special super stabilization mode, but upon activation the resolution automatically sets to Full HD and the picture there turns into a pixel mess, so I wouldn't recommend using it. It is possible to zoom in while shooting video, maybe someone will need it once in a smartphone's life. In general, the resulting clips please all at once except for stabilization. The picture is clean and nicely colored. The hardware of the device is represented by the so-called gaming chipset Helio G95, bearing 8-core processor and giving maximum frequency 2.05 GHz. The graphics here is Mali G76MC4. Also with this sample we picked up 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. All this is acting nicely to keep the interface, apps and light games smooth to the maximum, but the real surprise was in heavy games. Take our beloved World of Tanks Blitz as an example. With ultra settings you can expect 2-3 games on 45 to 55 FPS without freezes. After 5 fights more, the FPS number was ranging from 20 to 35, and after a dozen games the picture stably showed us 25 or lower. In this case we went into the settings, switched half of the sliders to the medium and boom! Again 40 to 50 frames per second. This is not good. No, it is very good, especially by the standards of the class. Take a look at the benchmark test results, and if you're gonna use the pause button to check the numbers carefully, please don't forget to resume it. The final part is about the battery. Here it is biggie 5000 mAh. Unless you hang in games around the clock, on average the smartphone will live a day and a half. That is pretty good. As for the charging time from the proprietary adapter, the numbers again are in front of you. Summarizing the stuff, let's get back to the past and remember how 6 months ago we received the sample of the 6th model on the raw firmware. You know what, I didn't want to use this smartphone at all until in a couple of weeks it got updates and the smartphone literally transformed from the inside. It stopped lagging, the camera received upgrades too, the battery became optimized. Most of these problems Realme 7 is already dealt with, having got just one update. In the end, it is worth saying that Realme 7 is actually some way better than Realme 6. It has got frosted back that is not collecting fingerprints and scratches as much as a glossy one does. We've got a major update in battery and better hardware. As for the screen, cameras and whole lot of other stuff, these phones are not that different, so if you want to buy a phone as a replacement for the truly old one, Realme 7 is the way to go, but if you own Realme 6, you better look for some other device. And this is actually it for today. In the description box below you will find the links to the internet stores where you can buy this guy, and if you like this video then why not to support our channel by subscribing to it, hitting the like button, ringing the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching and cheers!